to tell folk how mad we was when
Good
the
morning,
election's turnout was
YouTube.
determined by legitimate
Look
voting.
what I
We
found
know that if we had tried to
on,
storm Nancy
the internet.
Pelosi's office, we know that if we had tried to get through, there would have been hundreds of black people shot,
I love these
murdered,
things,
and
man.
massacred
Apparently,
on
I'm
the
the only one
mall and
commenting.
in Congress and on Capitol Hill. We know what that is. And so I say to you, my brothers and sisters, take off that mask when you're talking to God and take off that mask when you're talking to each other. Moses couldn't afford to take off his mask with people because he knew their limitations, but at some point we got to say as black people, we got to love each other enough to receive the truth of who we are in the full range of our blackness.
A reaction video.
We make gay people wear masks. Keep them in the closet. Trans people don't want to tell their truth. And here we are being victims of white supremacy. And we turn around and reinforce heterosexism.
Heterosexism.
Paulie Murray, who was a graduate of this great institution,
Sex.
who before Thurgood Marshall and Charles Hamilton Houston talked about dismantling Jim Crow. And she said, I'm a victim of Jane Crow too.
Jane Crow.
In terms of gender. She wrote a paper in law school at Howard, and they ignored her because she was a woman. And then later on, they used that paper as the basis of dismantling Jim Crow with Brown versus Board of Education. We make people mask themselves even among our own community.
Always
because they don't have the politics of respectability. They wearing bonnets at the airport and house shoes. And I know that disturbs some of our bourgeois consciousness. We got to check ourselves. What in the world is you doing? And I'm not arguing that everything is all right all the time. I'm saying, however, we got to check and unmask the ways in which we have internalized dominant supremacist thinking and values and articulated them as legitimate mores and folkways for African people in America.
Nobody can see this.
And we have to be able to tell the truth to each other and to love each other enough to hear the full range of blackness. You don't have the ultimate determination of what truly being black is. You only been black all your life. That don't mean you're the only person who's been black all your life. Black people do all kind of stuff you think black people don't do. And so we've got to continually challenge the internal policing of blackness in our own community. The black Derek Chauvins that would put their knees on the necks of offending black people. Black people who would handcuff the free expression of identity that black people
died of a drug
in recognition of their full exploration of their identities put forth. Then finally, you ought to unmask for your therapist too. Don't make no sense to go to therapy if you got the ability to go and be lying about what you're doing. The whole point of therapy is to unmask. Is to tell the truth about who you are and the ugly parts of us. And this is why, and I'm sorry, every year I come here and lately I talk about cancel culture because I don't know who can really stand ultimately against cancel culture. When you the canceler today and the cancelee tomorrow. My Bible tells me that all have sinned. Some of our sins are more evident than others. Some of us messing up in ways that are pretty apparent, but some of us who are judging the ones who have apparent sins got sins too. We just mask them differently.
Hold on.
And so cancel culture, I'm not talking about being held accountable. We should as men. If Me Too has taught us anything, it is that women for centuries have been denied legitimacy as agents of their own destiny, sexually, morally, spiritually, politically, financially, and economically. We know that women are consistently subject to vicious forms of patriarchy. That domestic violence and abuse are real.
Guys.
It ain't just Petito. A lot of women in our own community being viciously mistreated, sexually degraded,
Like you did last night with that prostitute.
That must end. But our ultimate goal must be about restorative justice and about redemption. Because ultimately what we understand is that all of us have a flaw, a sin, a failure. And we need grace. And forgiveness. I don't know about y'all, I do. Not my mother, not my father, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. And so when you go to your therapist, instead of turning to drugs, instead of turning to alcohol, instead of turning to social media, instead of judging people as part of a digital mob. We didn't like it when black people were in jail allegedly having committed a crime that many of us knew was not true. And then the lynch mob came and said, we're going to execute justice right here. We ain't waiting for no trial.
Ever Nancy.
And how many black men and women were lynched because of a mob justice based on mere allegation without having the ability to have justice. And so I warn young people against that. You judging somebody for what they did when they were 13 and they're now 33.
What can I do?
It's been frozen. First of all, be careful what you tell your kids to put on that dadgum Twitter machine.
Equals.
And what you saying. Because unfairly or not, imagine if Twitter was around when some of y'all were young. Some of the stuff you said, some of the stuff you had done would now come to light. And can you imagine being judged by something 20 years ago?
How about what you did last night with that prostitute?
Have you matured? Have you moved beyond that?
Have you?
That's why so many of us demanding vengeance in the place of justice will refuse to unmask the truth. Of who we are. So when you go to your therapy,
the truth.
And black folk ought to have therapy. All I need is Jesus, no Negro.
Is full.
Jesus
shit.
Done gave you the name of good three therapists that you need.
Please,
to check
I
out.
hope this. You can't.
Jesus
why
said,
am I
made
not
them
blocked?
too. And your butt needs to go to therapy. I take my seat, so that's when you don't wear no mask. In your intimate relationships with your loved ones, with your wife or husband, your partner, and you pretending you one thing and then you are scared that if they see who you really are, they will run.
Incompetent.
They will pack up and leave. They will abandon you because in your unmitigated expression of yourself, it is too offensive and reprehensible. But you got to take that risk. You ain't got no real relationship until all the ugly parts come company with all the beautiful parts. And when the ugly and the beautiful get together, they produce a relationship. And that relationship is built upon trust and love and acknowledgement that we have all failed and we are all full of flaws. But ultimately, we have a person who will love us regardless. Or as we say, irregardless, will love us anyhow.
Look at
that's
this
why
shit.
I love God. I must tell you as I take my seat, that's when you unmask.
It took them.
Keep your mask on out in society.
That perhaps
keep your mask on when you're dealing with the COVID virus. Keep your mask on as you're trying to protect your loved ones. And put your mask on when you're trying to bring health and healing to this nation. But take your mask off. When you stand before your loved ones, when you stand before your community, and when you stand before your therapist, and when you stand before God.
Blocking the troll. Thank you for blocking the troll.
That ultimately is the only way to bring moral and spiritual healing to a nation, but especially to ourselves.
All right. I think we're done here.
In the name
enjoy
of
your day.